The new footage. There's new footage that Jeremy Corbell leaked. There was in 2021. There was a UFO that hovered over an Air Force base.
Stop. What?
What's out?
Fucked up too.
I'm taking it. I can't.
There's a lot going on here.
Show the pictures of the UFO. These guys, 50 guys observed this thing.
Corbell, dang, I'm trying to process everything.
He can't help himself.
Corbell
He's
chili.
an animal. The Corbell chili?
Hormel.
Oh, Hormel.
That's a stretch.
There you go.
I was like, am I missing that one? Is that a cultural reference that I'm not aware
I'm
of?
not sure which
James
exactly
Corbell?
thing is it this? Like, because there's articles about him from recent.
Oh,
but,
I think he's one of your
the
security
ones that
guys.
just came, that just came out like a day ago. I
those
think
above
on
that house?
Instagram.
That's definitely it.
check his Instagram. No, I checked
Cardi
his
B
Twitter. His
shows
Twitter
off
didn't-
daughter's school lunch.
Whatever this thing is, they've
This?
got 50 different people. I think he actually released photos of it.
Pull it up. JMO.
Does it? What about his?
Come on, dude. That's
Jamie,
it's
go to
never any
his,
good evidence. It's
Instagram.
like 3 lights a billion miles away.
That's why it's fun.
fair.
If you got to really be all in.
Fair.
I don't want to be all in. I like to be like half in.
Hey, look at that background.
I think
like
that's
he's here.
that's it. Where you see weaponized. That's the craft. That's it. So okay, so it's a video. So this thing, what this thing is, they photographed it half of a football field size, and it was hovering over this military base, and then it just disappeared, just jetted off.
Interesting.
50 people saw it.
50?
Yeah,
Who are these people?
some military guys.
Who are these people?
It's the whole thing is it's the most exciting thing to me. It's the most fun. Out of all the stupid shit that I like to concentrate on,
You'd think they would
illuminate the crap, but when the flares got close, the UFO vanished into thin air. So they shot flares at it.
That's probably just a liner.
But
Let me look at it.
Why would
That's
it in the thin
landing
air?
gear.
Why would it in the thin air? Only
What, it
magic
just went
does that.
Away.
They used magic.
Oh, what? Run with
jet.
that.
I'm telling you, that's nothing.
I mean, vanished into the air.
You're dreaming.
It probably just shot off at an insane rate of speed, like they always do.
Yeah.
Stop. That's
How
what
many
they do.
people would love a full invasion?
How
A
about
full,
you-
like,
how about
landing?
us? We
Yeah.
go camping. We're
Yeah.
doing mushrooms. Aliens land.
I'm dying for a probe up my ass.
More. I think that's like corded phones.
The
I think they
aliens
got it. We're
hold of
looking
us.
for.
I mean, we have MRIs. Why the fuck do alien need a finger in your ass?
Good point. Good point.
Yeah.
That's fun.
True.
Something to tell the friends back at the farm.
Yeah, all those
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
that's probed were definitely just sexually assaulted.
Oh, yeah.
Very
Yeah.
repressed memories.
Yeah, yeah. They just
The
lied.
fucking alien got in there.
Some fucking
Uncle
fucked them
Alien.
in the forehead.
And then
Yeah.
left you right in front of that gay bar?
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah,
Macau.
Sons
crazy.
of bitches?
No, they're connected.
Somehow.
I can't believe the
It's all
sons of
connected.
bitches did that.
Son of bitches.
This guy was on podcast.
Yeah.
This is the dude Travis Walton from that movie Fire in the Sky. Did you ever see that movie Fire in the Sky?
Yeah.
He looks like the
It's
My
all
Pillow.
about
Yeah.
his witnesses. They saw him get hit with some sort of a beam. They saw a craft land. They were loggers. This guy jumps out. He's a crazy
Beam.
fucking logger. It goes running towards it, and he get with his beam. He falls down. They drive off. They get like, half a mile down the road, and they're screaming at each other. We got to go back. We got to go back. So they turn around and go back. They go back to the spot, and he's gone. 5 days later, the guy shows up with this crazy story. He shows up, makes a phone call. He calls the police, calls his family. He by that craft, and they fixed him. They said his body was broken from the
What?
beam, and they took him aboard, and he had these encounters. And there was a movie called Fire in the Sky.
shit.
Why'd they beam him in the
Whoa.
first place?
Fuck.
That's it. They took a lot of liberties with the story.
Wow.
But was it D.B. Cooper? Is that the guy who was in it?
Oh, I know
D.B.
that
Sweeney?
guy. That's a different
D.B.
guy.
Sweeney. Yeah, D.B. Sweeney.
Whoa.
Right.
He's the actual
He's the guy that jumped out of the
Oh,
plane
yeah,
with
with the money.
They don't know who that guy
That
is
guy's
either.
badass.
That died immediately.
2 broken legs. He was eaten by dogs.
Middle of the woods with no parachute, and he survived, I guess.
The craziest is the cows that lose all their skin.
Oh, no. You're
skinned?
talking about cattle mutilations.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't know what the
No
fuck that is.
explanation.
Turn him inside out?
They cut organs out with
Pull it up.
laser precision. They remove the blood from the body with no visible
chupacabra.
method.
It's chupacabra.
No,
That's
there's
chupacabra.
weird stuff that does
Chupacabra.
happen to cows.
What about images appear in
Crop
fields?
circles.
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
Those are weird.
Talk about that anymore.
Crops.
I think people gave up on that.
Those are dude. Yeah, with
I think people gave up on
Escape
yeah, they
guys.
gave up
crops.
on it. They
I
were
don't hear about
beacons.
that anymore.
No, you don't.
Definitely dudes were doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also some of them were a little more interesting.
Yes.
Some
More
of them
intricate.
was also they were folded into place in a way where it seemed like a great deal of energy was in the husk
Yeah.
or the
Autistic.
stalk. No. There's some that they
power
were
of
trying to
autism.
say, like they had. There was a way that you could do these things. It's very clear when someone did it that way.
Wow.
Yeah, crop circles were supernatural forces named Doug and Dave. Intricate patterns carved in fields across England in the 1980s were a viral phenomena long before the interest fed us such prankster curiosities daily. Yeah. The people that believe that some of them they have something else to them.
But what about the cows? Because they would
a good
pull
point.
the
But this
blood
is a
out.
different.
Chupacabras.
This is a different
wow.
thing. Not one drop of blood. Cattle mystery mutilated.
Not
in
one
Oregon.
drop of
Yeah.
blood.
That's the weird one.
Just sounds like faulty reporting when they found the cow.
Yeah,
I think that's
sucked
more
out.
likely
Look at
than
it,
an
sucked
people
alien.
out.
have done things.
Yeah, that is more likely.
People have done things.
Eastern
Dragged
Oregon.
away.
Body parts precisely removed. Like someone has cut the organs out of that cow.
A weird
Now, if
dude
it was
is
a
more
person
likely.
that's doing it, but
Yeah.
the way they're doing it is very unusual.
No blood? Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why the fuck aliens would do that. It doesn't make any sense, but it does make sense.
They're weird.
They want stuff. They want to learn.
A lot of people lean
It's
towards
humans.
aliens.
But why would they do that?
The same fucking alien would.
I know blood.
You want the cow blood?
Why would an alien want cow blood?
To
Imagine-
learn about our creatures.
cows?
Studying
Yeah.
us.
Start somewhere.
Studying us like
Imagine
butterflies.
if it was demons, but they couldn't quite.
boy.
They couldn't
Here we
quite. They didn't have the authority to go after people yet, so they let them have a few cows every now and then just to keep satisfied.
it out,
'Cause
Joe.
they
You
live
give
for-
me
they
the
live for
willies.
Like the
thousands of
dragons?
years. They live for thousands of years. These demons,
And they have to
They really
feast.
just want to torture
They gotta
humans
feast.
and gut them and suck their blood out and leave their fucking
Little Nas
skinned
X.
carcasses.
Well, Max is gonna come up here. and give me a
yeah, they
fucking
always talk
lap
about
dance,
natural.
dude.
What about
Better
the
not make me
supernatural?
come.
Yeah, we're blaming it on aliens when it's demons.
It's just demons.
Demons practicing. They're like, okay, go cow, you fucking freaks.
Practicing
got
for
that
the
right.
invasion.
They just go practice for what they're going to do to us. Once they get the green light, once people are like
Too bad.
inexcusably evil,
Yeah.
once there's just like
But they're
every
like Hitler.
every country is ruled by evil dictators. Well, like probably that close.
That close. A little more sodomy.
A little more.
And they're
than-
unleashed.
Then we know that Satan's real.
Sodom and
Well,
Gomorrah.
we're going to get some good comments after this one. The Satan is real, people. Golan writes, the reports of cattle mutilations began in 1973, mostly in the West and Midwest. It was often small-scale ranchers who reported them. When local law enforcement agencies investigated, they frequently found that the cow's ears, eyes, rectums, and sex organs had been cut away with surgical precision. According to the newspaper reports, more than 10,000 of the incidents occurred by the end of the decade. It's demons.
Demons. You're
Imagine
fucking
what it
right.
was.
Dude, you're fucking
Damn.
right. It's
They just-
demons.
they
Jamie,
just-
bring up chupacabras.
They just have to practice every now and then. They
Demon
just-
Wayans.
They want to do it to people, but
Yeah, right.
It's just you're a machine.
In another case, I saw it was a magpie, one of these birds known for how smart it is. There was a full, half-liter, plastic thing of water. It was just water, okay? A water bottle. And it was full. So the magpie goes over and sips out the water. Now, the beak is only, an inch and a half long or an inch at most, so it goes in until it can't reach the water anymore. So what does it do? It goes off to the side, gets a rock, just the right size, drops it into the water bottle
It raises the level.
by displacing water. Here it is.
That is heavy.
You've got the video. There it is. And so it comes, and it goes back, and it gets another one, drops it in, and every time it drops it in, the water level rises, and it can drink more water. And it keeps doing this.
That's pretty amazing.
Okay? And so every time we study animals, they're smarter than we ever thought they were. So maybe for our own ego, we kept building ourselves up, saying how separate and distinct we are as humans in the animal kingdom, when maybe we're not as separate and distinct as we think we are. So now what's my broader point there about that I was making? I just distracted
Something
myself. I get back to UFOs on that.
We have high resolution cameras in our pocket. And we take videos of things that are very unusual.
Exactly. So here's video of a magpie doing Bernoulli experiments on a water bottle. Who would have known that even happened, right?
Right.
Okay. You can't bring the bird into a lab and maybe you could, but I don't know that anyone did. All right. Here's my point. In the 1960s and 70s, there were many, many reports of alien abductions. People said, the aliens came to me and they brought me in and then they released me. Do you have any footage? No, they took my camera. or no, they zapped my film and now there's no image on the film. But there were countless stories. Well, now you can stream live from your camera anything that's going on in front of you. So if the aliens come and they want to abduct you, stream it. That would be instantly viral. Oh my gosh. You know, the stuff that goes viral is much less than that. A kitten that jumps to the table and falls, that goes viral? You don't think a video footage of an alien is not going to go viral instantly? But there's none. So I'm just saying, I'm thinking if we were being visited, somebody would have some good footage. If we were being visited, I'm thinking maybe Google satellite images would catch spaceships that are not airplanes moving on our surface. If we were being visited, I'm thinking we'd have something better than fuzzy monochromatic video of objects that apparently reveal themselves only to Navy pilots, right? So
one of the reasons most of these sightings actually occur far offshore in the ocean. And the speculation is this is one of the ways, no, obviously I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on nice and tight. This is one of the ways that they monitor us. The best way to do it is to do it where they're hold their base where no one is around, which is the ocean.
No, that's not.
They go in the ocean, they pop up, and they fly out.
It's not true. Yeah, nobody lives on the ocean. Yes, that's correct.
In the ocean.
Have you? It lives down undersea.
What the speculation?
Oh, okay.
Transmedium devices have been.
Okay.
These transmedium crafts have been observed.
If you are sure we are being visited by aliens and you don't actually have really good evidence, then you have to say that. Sure.
Well, know that.
You have to say this is really happening and they're observing us and they're concealing themselves in this particular way. You have to say that. And so
right.
that's your way to maintain your alien belief system by saying that. And I don't have a problem with it. Go get him. Mm-hmm. Go get him. But all of what has been put forth as evidence for aliens, to me, is insufficient evidence to excite my interest, my research interest in devoting time to finding it out. But it definitely has excited other people. I have not stopped them. I am not saying defund the military program on UAPs, which of course is just updated UFO. Right?
I know they like that now because there's like a stigma to UFO.
Yeah, that's a really transparent,
sneaky way of doing
No,
it.
not even sneaky. It's actually, I think it's embarrassing. It's like maybe if we call them UAPs, people will take them seriously. No, it's just.
I'm a belief that they're probably akin to what we did on Mars. I don't think there's aliens in them. I have a feeling that these things are probes. And I feel like if you just think about biological entities flying through the universe, like why do that?
Right.
When you have sophisticated technology that's good enough right now from our like relatively primitive in consideration of what we think is possible a million years from now, right? Mm-hmm. But we can send that Mars rover around. We have a helicopter on Mars. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's multiple satellites flying through the universe right now taking images. We can do all that.
Yeah, but our probes are not targeting the Martian military fighter pilots.
Because there's no Martian military. But if there were, we certainly would.
Sitting out in the open.
Right, but if we had something like, are you familiar with one of the most famous cases was a case with Commander David Fravor of the Navy, who encountered with one or two other jets off of the Nimitz. They encountered this thing that was shaped like a Tic Tac.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know the story.
Everybody knows this, yeah.
This story. It went from, they tracked it going from 80,000 feet above sea level to 50 in less than a second. They have no idea how it moved. There's no visible propulsion system. Mm-hmm. It was blocking their radar. It was actively blocking tracking.
This is what their sensors told them.
Exactly.
Just be clear about that.
And then
you're saying information as though it is facts.
I'm stating information at Commander Fravor
I don't care.
Related.
That doesn't matter. He's human, and we're all human here. But as a scientist, when you're presenting information, you don't say, this thing was at 80 feet and it dropped to zero to sea level in 1 second, or whatever it was, the measure. That's the wrong way to report it. What you say is, we have sensors that told us this is what happened.
I understand what you're saying.
Okay?
Yes.
That's a very important distinction.
Yes.
And so now, all right, your first question then, tell me about the sensors.
Yeah.
Okay, are they double checked? Are they, and so but if you're just going to say there's this craft at 80,000, then everyone is thinking about a craft, and no one is thinking about the sensor.
They actually saw eyes too. This is something that they actually got.
You can't see some 80,000 feet.
No, the actual visual on the craft.
Okay.
They didn't see it at 80,000 feet, but this craft, it's not just something that was tracked with equipment.
Got it. But they did get it at 80,000 feet.
Right.
That's my point. So by the way, this level of attention I'm giving to the detail and the reporting of information, we do that with all scientists for much less
Oh, for sure.
than if we're being visited by intelligent aliens from another planet. Go to a scientific conference and watch the level of scrutiny we put on other people's work. If they have a sensor that has a new result, we'll say, did you calibrate the sensor? How long has the sensor been in use? I'll give you an example. Okay? Do you remember Planet X?
Yes.
The search for Planet X.
Nibiru.
That one, sorry, there were several nations of Planet X.
Right.
That was among them.
That was the
I'm
most
talking
wacky.
Talking about 100 years ago, Planet X.
100 years ago?
Well, there's several Planet X's, right? So Uranus was moving weirdly, nobody understood. Maybe there's a planet beyond it whose gravity we have yet to reckon in our equations. Oh, boom! Discover Neptune. Wait a minute, Neptune is moving a little unfamiliarly. My phone is. Sorry about
Are you
that.
going to drop that thing and break it with no case on?
So, this I got the 12, and I can still do this. Sometimes
Yeah,
it's
I
not
get
dropping.
it. Last time you were here, you had a broken case. You're a broken back. Remember?
So, why are you distracting me?
Sorry.
I was on a roll, and
Neptune.
So Neptune.
Gravity.
We're looking at Neptune's orbit, and it's not following Newton's laws. And this is odd. Well, we've been down that road before. Uranus didn't follow Newton's laws. We proposed another planet, and we found it. So Neptune's not following all the laws of gravity that from all the other planets in the sun. There must be a planet out there, a planet X. Let's look for it.
Is that Bode's law?
Bar is a fitting function that gets you. It got a little more attention than it deserved. It's just that planets, every next planet is about twice as far away from the sun as the previous one. So you just make a quick equation out of that. And,
that's it?
But it doesn't work for Mercury, and it didn't work for Pluto. And
I thought it was based on the mass of the planet.
no, not at all. Mass has nothing to do
Nothing to do with it?
And it predicted the asteroid belt, but the asteroid belt, there's no planet there.
Right.
Okay? And if you glue together all the pieces of the asteroid belt, you get something like 5% the mass of the moon. So, it gave us the location of the asteroid belt, but that's not a planet. So, Bode's law, it's fun to play with, but, there are limits to how far you want to declare its relevance to the actual universe. So, we're out here at Neptune, and so I said, maybe there's a planet X. Everybody started looking, including Percival Lowell, all right, back in the 1920s. And he says, I want to find planet X because something's perturbing Neptune. So he sets out looking for it, and he doesn't find it. Then he hires Clyde Tombaugh, and he dies, so he doesn't see the results of this. Clyde Tombaugh, he said, I can't find it either. I will just systematically search everywhere. Because if you think something's affecting you gravitationally, you ought to have some idea where it is to be tugging on you in that way. All right? That's not some kind of weird, it's like you're moving differently. Where must the thing be to tug on you so that you're moving in that way? Right. No one could find such a planet X. So Clyde Tombaugh said, it's got to be out there somewhere. I will systematically image the entire sky. All right? And you got to do it on multiple nights. If something's moving, you'd see it change from one picture to the next. He does this, discovers Pluto. Was Pluto where Planet X was supposed to have been? Was Pluto the mass that Planet X should have been? Everyone assumed it was. But over the decades, the mass of Pluto got lower and lower and lower as our estimates got more and more accurate. And then we found out that Pluto is 1/5 the mass of our moon, made of half ice. And this is why Pluto got into trouble later in the 20th century. It's not because we had some vendetta against Pluto. Pluto just never belonged in that list to begin with. That's really how you need to think about it. Anyhow, there's still the matter of Neptune's orbit. Pluto did not have enough mass to make those changes. So the search for Planet X continued. So what happens? All right. 1993. A colleague of mine named Miles Standish. Okay? He's probably related to the Miles Standish on the Mayflower. He is an astrophysicist, looked at all of the data people were using to say Neptune's orbit was crooked. Looked at all the data. Then he found out that at one particular observatory, was it the gearbox or the timing mechanism, had just been cleaned or swapped out. Or there was some, because in the observing log, you write down everything because you just don't know. Okay, was glitch in the current? Was there a bird fly over? You make notes of everything. One of the observatories, whose data were grafted together with the other observatories, had this sort of gearbox. I don't remember if it was a gearbox. There was some mechanical adjustment that was made. He said, I wonder if that had an effect on the positioning of this telescope. He moved those data from his analysis and fitted data to all the other telescopes that he had for the positions of Uranus. Of Neptune. When he did that, Planet X evaporated in that instant. In that instant. There was no Planet X. All the other data, when he connects across, removing the data from the one where the observing log said they did something different, Neptune fell right on to Newton's laws. And so since 1993, there is no Planet X. And Pluto, and were it not for that, we probably would have been a long time before we discovered Pluto because no one would have looked for it.
They found like
Let me just finish
Pluto
the lesson there.
Okay.
The lesson there is you have information that you think is correct from your sensors. This was an observatory, a fine observatory. And you're going to say, this observatory says Neptune is misbehaving. But then you learned there was something wrong with the data. You throw it out. So I'm trying to say this happens all the time in science. You have to be careful what you're analyzing before you declare what the thing measured is true, and then realign all your resources to address what you think is true, when it might have just simply been a glitch or multiples or anything. And we do this all the time.
That's what Bob Lazar thinks that spaceship that he worked on was made with. He thinks it was somehow 3D printed because it has no seams. You paying attention to this UFO shit? No? Good for you.
No, but I know you do, so I'm gonna ask because it's like this shit just, there's so much shit that's just coming out now. I don't understand what's the motive behind it just randomly coming out now.
Yeah, I'm super suspicious.
So what's the place? Area
51?
Area 51.
Yeah.
Like I'm assuming that shit has been real.
That's real. Yeah. But Area 1 was used for all sorts of training purposes. They had all sorts of programs that were running out there. I think that's where they developed the B-52. Is that where they developed it, in Area 51? They developed a bunch of different military technologies out there.
So nothing was true about the...
We don't know. We don't know. It's all just guessing about whether or not they were working on UFOs. But they were definitely working on other stuff, too. It's a legitimate military base.
So you think the video is real? That's coming out? Or you think it's...
I think the videos are real. What they're filming, I don't know what that is. It could be that it's some super sophisticated U.S.-controlled drone that was built in some sort of program that's top secret, and it has some new super sophisticated propulsion system that they don't want us to know about. And so they pretend it's coming from another world. And they say, oh, these are off-world crafts exhibiting behavior that's impossible to replicate in America. I wonder. Because if they're talking about it like that, they're literally saying off-world, like, boy, I get suspicious. I get suspicious because they're not super honest about anything.
No,
why would they be honest about spaceships?
Then it just randomly happens now. You know?
Yeah, it's another nice distraction. It gets people all excited. The fake little Mexican UFO baby.
They're doubling down.
No, they're not.
They took it. This is from the MRI yesterday. They said it's one skeleton.
Where did they
It
find
does,
that at?
like they're trying. Other like American scientists are saying, well, then let people test samples of it or something. But
Well, did they have images from the MRI?
I mean, I don't know that they showed those actual images, but the doctor that took it, yeah, he said right here they belong to a single skeleton that has not been joined to other pieces.
Interesting. Footage from the team carrying out the tests shows one of the bodies bearing an elongated head, a small upturned nose, and 2 slanted eyes. The subjects look tiny when held up by the doctors examining the watching journalists.
Then this also is like this person says that I think it's the doctor has claimed that he talks to the Virgin of Guadalupe, and the extraterrestrials will not talk to her like they talk to him because she doesn't believe in them.
Maybe he does drugs. Maybe on the truth. Maybe he did talk to the Virgin of Guadalupe. So that's what it's supposed to be. I want to see what those images are like. They don't have them.
You ever notice how none of the image clear
Yeah.
on shit
a
like
real
that we
problem.
really want to see?
Yeah, it's a real problem. I talked to this one guy, Christopher Mellon. He used to be an intelligence agent, and he said that they do have clear footage. It just hasn't been leaked, but that he's aware of it, and some of it is pretty mind-blowing, he said.
Damn.
Show me. Until I see it. I don't know, man. I feel like a dummy because I want to believe in it so bad. That's the problem. Because it's so fun. You know, the idea of spaceships coming here from another galaxy. That's amazing.
I don't know how fun, especially if they ain't friendly.
Well, if they weren't friendly, we'd already be fucked, right? I mean, if they've been coming here forever, supposedly, and they haven't hurt us yet, we're probably okay. You know, I think they're probably observing us. They're probably, if they are coming from another world, they're probably making sure we don't blow ourselves up. They're probably realizing that we're at this convergence of the evolution of the biology and then science and technology and its abilities that far surpass like the speed that the biology evolves. Like the biology evolves very slowly relatively compared to these computers. The things that they're able to do, these spaceships and the flying cars, and it's like we have so much ability now, and we're still the same kind of creature. We're still humans, you know, but now we have this insane ability to blow up a whole country. Like we have nuclear bombs. We're all pointing them at each other, and there's enough to wipe out the whole world. Like if I was an alien, I'd be like, let's keep an eye on these crazy fucks. You know, these people are wild. Let's keep an eye on them.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'm gonna keep my distance from that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to fly to Mars. I don't want to do none of that shit. I just, man, live my life.
Yeah. It's going to be a long time before people get comfortable moving to Mars.
Yeah.
I don't know how long that's going to be, but that's a fucking commitment.
Didn't they have anybody recently go? Are they letting people go now?
No, they haven't let people yet. They've sent drones. So they have the Mars rover that goes around on Mars, but that's just a robot. But the idea is to have people on Mars. I think, didn't Elon say by like 2035 or something like that, he wants man trip to Mars?
That's crazy. You keep saying his name. He's the only doing whatever the fuck he want to do
Whatever
at
the
this
fuck he
point.
wants.
Yeah.
He's a wild
Les Stroud.
Yeah.
So he did that show about
Survivor Man Bigfoot, yeah.
but it just went away.
Bro. Show. I love Les Stroud. I love him. I love Survivor Man, but that show was so fucking dumb.
Yeah.
He had a guy on the show that is known in the Bigfoot world as being full of shit,
Yeah.
which is bad. Like if the Bigfoot world's pretty open-minded. I mean, this is one of the things that I wanted to bring up about that 411 The Hunted thing. There's audio recording that was supposedly taken from the 1970s from Northern California. I want to say Sonoma. I don't remember where it was. It was somewhere in Northern California, but they call them the samurai sounds. The samurai, and it's the weirdest shit ever, man. It's like these guys had this spot that they would go into the mountains and they would hunt every year. And they built the structure out there, and then they brought recording equipment, and they claimed to have recorded sounds of these animals, these Bigfoot, and that these Bigfoot were around them all the time while they were up there. Now, what's crazy about it is the sounds are so weird. It sounds like someone pretending to be Japanese that doesn't actually speak Japanese. Have you ever heard it? No. We'll play it for you. It's because it's the weirdest shit. It sounds so strange and so fake, but you know, like they have these quote unquote experts that say the human voice is not capable of making sounds remotely similar to this. The range is, which doesn't make any sense if you know who Michael Winslow is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I know.
That guy that guy went on.
He does a woman peeing when she goes to the bathroom.
He does everything.
Yeah, he does everything.
He did Led Zeppelin. He played Whole Lotta Love with his mouth.
Yeah.
And it sounds incredible. But this samurai sound, like there's these loud whoops, whoops, and these guys are like in the foreground, you know, like the guys who are recording, they're trying to communicate with these things. They sound so calm. I mean, if there really was giant fucking 8-foot apes out there wandering around, like, you know, 200-300 yards away from you, screaming and whooping and talking, would you really, and you're in the woods, would you really be so calm? Wouldn't you be freaking the fuck out?
Oh,
with
yeah.
these guys? Do you have it?
Yeah, I'm trying to make sure I find the right thing because I'm stumbling across some traps.
Oh,
It's like people are fucking around the internet.
I wish I could remember the gentleman's name.
Well, I think I have it. That's all I'm saying. So, Ronald J. Moorhead and Alan Berry, maybe? Is that right?
Yes, Ron Moorhead. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. The Sierra Mountains. That's what it is.
All right.
And so, it's the weirdest shit ever. Just listen to this. You're going to,
I read what it could be, but we'll listen first.
it could be bullshit.
Yeah,
That's what
well.
it could be.
That sounds like
No,
said
no.
all aboard.
Listen. This is, hold on, stop. This is a terrible version
Yeah,
of it.
wow.
There's a better version of it where you can hear the guys really clearly. The people talking. I don't know why that's so scratchy. But they're like, they're over by the lake. Like, they're talking like that. And they hear this very strange sound.
And they're being calm about it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
these, supposed vocal experts are analyzing it. The human body is incapable of making such sounds. And that area of, you got it?
I don't know. It says HD. I don't
Okay,
know if
we'll
it's
hear it.
better.
In for Nightville.
Yeah. They're knocking. That's another thing that Sasquatch do. They knock. That one's weird. Scoot ahead a little bit and hear the samurai sounds. Still sounds terrible. Anyway, these people believe that Les Stroud was balls deep in this.
With that
Balls
guy.
deep. Apparently, he had an experience, and I talked to him about his experience. It's pretty interesting. He was in, not with that guy, but he was in Alaska, and apparently he heard some crazy noises, like some monkey sounds outside of in the middle of nowhere. No one was anywhere near. And he said he heard something run away, some bipedal sound of something running away. But again, even though he's an experienced woodsman, and he's a guy who's, camped out countless nights in the middle of nowhere and survives in the middle of nowhere and documents it. Like, he's the reason why those survivor shows exist.
Yeah.
Because that guy literally would starve to death and try to eat, like, bark and whatever the fuck he could for 7. You could see his face, like, sinking in. He was losing weight. mean, he really did do that. He did all sorts of different things to try to survive, and then documented how he was doing it and what he would do. But he got obsessed with Bigfoot and then developed that Bigfoot show. And unfortunately, a lot of people lost a lot of faith in him because of that. They're like, no, you're the legit survivor guy, and now you're doing this show, and this is why it's ridiculous. There was one episode of the show where they had this guy who he was with who had video of a Sasquatch, like high-definition video, and it looks so fake.
Yeah.
It's like he's like the Sasquatch is looking at him through the woods, and he's like, there he is, there he is. And it's a guy with a mask on.
That's how
I
he
mean,
goes.
it's-
He yells out, "I'm a Sasquatch." You're like, oh god, he just yelled that out.
Oh, yeah. Makes the samurai noise.
Bigfoot.
But this, the guy who had the video is known to be like full of shit. And here he's got this guy on a show, and then he, is this real? You be the judge. Like, yeah, I'm going to say it's not real. It's a
Yeah.
guy with a fucking mask on.
I think I did that guy was very not respected
Yes.
in that.
By the Bigfoot community.
Yeah.
The Bigfoot community. Again, very open-minded.
Yeah. Very just everything.
Was other like they would see trees that would fall over like in certain patterns, and they were convinced that Sasquatch was leaning these trees against each other.
I thought it was to let you know where not to go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They had this. I mean, it's all theory, right? This idea
Yeah, I
that
think
the
I've been
reason-
following the wrong guy, dude. I believe all stuff that you like's fake. I'm like, yeah. I only watched that Les Stroud one because of that other guy.
Well, I want to be real. That's the thing.
I do
man.
too.
If someone had a convincing Bigfoot encounter where they caught it on video, where I was like, "Holy shit, what is that? Like, what is that?" Or there was something, but there's nothing. Like I've talked to a lot of those people when I did this show called Joe Rogan Questions Everything for Sci-Fi, and me and Duncan Trussell actually went camping in the Pacific Northwest. We didn't really camp. We pretended to go camping, and then we went to a hotel.
Yeah.
And then we
Yeah.
came back the next morning, like, well, rough night of camping. But we were out there for days trying to look for Sasquatch and talking to people that hunt for Sasquatch. And the one conclusion that we came to is it's a bunch of unfuckable white dudes. Like,
yeah,
that's
just out there. Yeah.
just out there
Yeah,
camping.
yeah.
It's just, but the desire for it to be real is so strong.
It would change. I watched, like that Finding Bigfoot show. I used to always think, because people are like, why is it on? I'm like, I don't know, man, because it's fun to watch. And if they find him, the world is different now. Like,
Yeah.
if they come back with Bigfoot, everything's different.
Everything's different.
Everything's getting different with the alien thing. The fact that
Yeah.
they're saying that's like true, you're like, it's a lot, dude. That's a lot to take. If we get, I know that they have the videos and stuff of the aliens, but like if we get up straight up and start talking to one, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, here's something that came out today, Jamie. I'm going to send you this because Sagar and Jetty from Rising on the Hill and I have been going back and forth with this, and I found this today and sent it to him. It's I'll send it to you right now, Jamie. It says paradigm-shifting UFO tech that alters space-time is operable. U.S. Navy Chief Tech Officer. So it's some story that I didn't bother looking into because I saw it when I was on my way out the door. And I was like, what in the fuck is this? Because there's been all these sightings of these things that move in a weird way. Paradigm-shifting UFO tech. There's these things that move in this weird way that don't show any propulsion system. And, due to censorship, please join us on Telegram. I'm going to say, documents obtained by the Drive show the revolutionary technology that has capability to alter space-time may actually be operable, according to the Naval Aviation Enterprise Chief Technology Officer, Dr. James, how do you say that name? Sheehy? What do you think?
Operable in quotes. What is that?
I don't know. Good question. Reflect on why is technology that has the potential to change the entire human experience for the better always used for the defense purposes and military applications? What are the betterments? What about the betterment of humanity? Yeah. I don't know. But it's Christopher Mellon, who's that guy who keeps coming up with all this UFO tech stuff. Can you scroll back up, please?
Someone's just like writing. I was reading through Twitter. It's like a story. It's not really like an article.
Right. Twitter feed of Christopher Mellon, the former Deputy Assistant Defense Secretary for Intelligence from 1997 to 2002. Doing so, I came across an interesting post from The Drive regarding documents they received via the Freedom of Information Act regarding a space-time modification weapon developed by the U.S. Navy, which apparently has already gone through experimental testing. This in turn led me to evidence suggesting that other revolutionary type of technology that could no doubt be used to change the world for the better, blah, 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 was already operable. Yeah, I don't know. But this is what, if you pay attention to the UFO world, do you pay attention to that shit at all?
Not like actively.
There's a guy named Bob Lazar. And
I do know that from because you talked to him.
Yeah, it was one of the weirdest conversations I've ever had because you're like, oh man, are you crazy? Are you full of shit? Or is this real?
Yeah.
Because if it is real,
wild.
this thing is a special effect created, a guy who was a special effect artist. Do you remember his name, Jamie, who made this thing for us? This gentleman, he's got a Designs by Perry at Instagram. And he created this thing. And this is like a scale model of what Bob Lazar supposedly worked on. He was hired by the United States military to work at Area S4, which is part of the Area 51, Site S4, Site 4, was this place where he allegedly worked to back engineer these spaceships. And the way these things moved around was exactly how this Christopher Mellon guy, or this article rather, that quoted him as describing, that they use some sort of gravity, space-time bending technology. So they didn't use a propulsion system like a rocket, which shoots flame out the back. They bent time in front of them and just would shoot instantaneously to wherever the fuck they wanted to go.
So you'd be like instantly be able to go.
And what's fucked is that there was an instance off of the coast of San Diego in 2004 where a Navy pilot by the name of Commander David Fravor, who I've also had on the show, experienced this thing that they call the Tic Tac UFO. They tracked it with radar. They tracked it with the camera systems on their plane, and they even have video footage of this thing. It went from 80,000 feet above sea level to 1 in a second.
Wow.
That's the amount of time that it takes radar to do the blip, blip,
Yeah.
blip, blip. So in that time, it traveled 80,000 feet. They have no idea how the fuck it did that. It shows no propulsion, heat signature. They took video footage of this thing, and it went from there. It took off where they couldn't even follow it with their eye, just disappeared to the predetermined destination where they were supposed to coordinate later. So it's like it's reading their tracking systems or reading where they were going. And the people that worked on the aircraft carrier were telling the fighter pilot, like, we've been seeing these things over, we see them like every couple weeks. We have no idea what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
And they just say, well, there it is. What are we going to do about that?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a picture of an alien in that Tic Tac. He's like, whoa, slow it down, dude. You're kind of crazy right now. Like he's having a bad day in there because he's got to be having just a day. Whoever's in there, some kind of day, maybe having a day. It's a lot to. Yeah, I don't know. You think it's like a lot to just tell people? Like if they had to be like to tell like just Earth, all of us humans on Earth, to like wrap our head around what would happen?
I think, what do you say if that's all you know? Like if you are the military and all you know is that something can do these things, something can move at this speed. The New York Times had a front page article about it a couple of years ago. And basically they're saying, hey, there are videos of things moving in a way that we don't understand, that aren't exhibiting a heat signature that indicates a propulsion system. We don't know what it is. And then there's the COVID-19 bill that just got passed, and one of the provisions in the COVID-19 bill is that they have 180 days to release all the information they have about UFOs.
That's a lot, yeah.
But I don't know if they're going to do anything with. I think they're going to.
It's funny that it's in this.
They go, yeah, we don't have anything.
COVID-19 bill.
Yeah,
like that's
a lot of weird shit was in the COVID-19 bill, like foreign aid. There's a lot of foreign aid to Pakistan, aid to all these countries. It's like people just to get it passed. They're like, okay, we'll say yes, but I want you to do a little favor for me and put this in the bill.
Yeah,
and there's just shows you how greasy politicians are.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
yeah.
But that's allegedly. What all that UFO technology.
Here's my take on it. I think he believes what he's saying, right? I think he has gone out there. I think I'm legit. Look, he was a 14-year veteran of military and National Reconnaissance Office, and I think he went out and he talked to enough people, and he believes it. I don't think he's out there like spinning a yarn and is worried that now he's gotten over his skis and he's said too many things, and now I don't know. I don't feel like it's tidy, and maybe the difference between us is I spent a lot of time with the government, and the government is sometimes can be really, really dysfunctional, and it goes back to keeping a secret. The idea that they could have this what essentially is a covert action campaign, to spread disinformation about what they actually know, right? When the easier thing to do is just to have the program, if it's the U.S. government's development of technology, right, and we're doing this, to have the program and just keep your yap shut about it, not go for a disinformation campaign, not try to muddy the waters by doing this, because in a sense, you're just creating more conversation around it. You're creating, now there's a little bit of a, movement within Congress to say we have to do this. Now we have to. So they're going to look perhaps for a misappropriation of funds, right? Because they're not going to pursue like the UAP issue necessarily, right? But they might be interested in pursuing misappropriation of funds. So if you're running a program, if it didn't, again, going back to the idea that it's a U.S. government thing, if you're running a program, that's the last thing you want to do, is because you're doing this program to avoid government oversight. You're not going to create this alternative narrative that, could generate the sort of publicity or the conversation, particularly up on Capitol Hill, that causes them to then start looking and saying, well, where is money being spent? Right. Because there is a trail there, and that could cause a problem. So
what are your instincts when you look at it? If I'm looking at it, I'm saying something's wrong, it seems like bullshit. What are your instincts?
I think I would like to, I don't think we're going to get there. But my instinct is to say, how do we solve this, or how do we come to some sort of logical resolution, as opposed to saying what is it right off the bat. My instinct is to say, all right, if the all domain anomaly resolution office has 800 cases, then tell us what those 800 cases are. Let's work our way through them, or have a little bit more transparency about working through those cases. Again, you'll probably whittle them down, right, we were doing Black Files and we were going around talking to people about, various sightings and things. You're basically just crossing things off, going, okay, that was this, that was this, that was this. You find some pretty mundane answers, but you whittle it down to maybe one or two things that you can explain, and then you can investigate those and say, okay, well, all right, let's dig further on these. But right now it's just like all over the map, and they've got so many cases, and they just kind of lump it all together. Are they doing that to obfuscate and create, this situation where it does seem like bullshit? And I don't know, but I think I'm not willing to shut the door on saying that those handful of those few sightings that where we do have technical data, we got video, we got radar lock, we got gun camera footage, whatever it may be, that can't be explained. I'm not willing to close the door and saying, well, it's is it, because who knows? Maybe China's doing the same thing. Oh, we're leading the hypersonic race right now, great, but they've got another program, and they were responsible for the Tic Tac, right? So we have to pursue it, and if that leads us to the doorstep that says, oh, that's a U.S. government program and they've developed the technology, okay. Fine, but I realize that I'm not willing to close the door on saying it could be something else. It could be otherworldly, right? Because I just don't know. It could be. I just don't know.
There is
who knows?
That album, the infinite nature of space, which seems to actually be getting bigger.
Yeah, there was a way of putting it that my wife, who's a hell of a lot smarter than I am, tried to explain it to me, and I kept looking at it like this. But she had heard a program at one point where the person explained it like, okay, imagine how vast the ocean is, right? And how we've explored the ocean, but then you look at space and how immense it is, right, compared to the ocean, right? Right. The amount that we've explored in space, right, is equivalent to like a wine glass full of ocean water, right? So you take a wine glass full of ocean water, you look at it and you go, there's nothing there, right? There's all those life forms. There's all those fish in the sea. It's kind of like that. And then, you think about space and you think about what we know and what we don't know and how we imagine, like our limited capacity to imagine what life outside of Earth could look like.
Right.
So yeah.
But when you talk of like crashed retrieval programs.
Yeah. That keeps taking me back and is, to this whole idea of if there was a crash retrieval and reverse engineering program like David Grush talked about and had been in existence for decades, somebody would have fucking opened their yap and talked about it. I think
other than Bob Lazar.
Other than Bob Lazar, and they would have had some better specifics, right? I mean, that's always the thing. It's always where it falls down. Well, I haven't seen it, but I talked to somebody who knows that it exists, right? And I think maybe it's because we're human, we're programmed to actually want physical evidence, right? We want to actually see it before we believe it. But, that really hasn't happened yet.
What's one of the things that's fascinating is the narrative has shifted so wildly from it's completely preposterous to credible people like David Fravor and Ryan Graves and all these different people that are talking about multiple sightings, things that completely defy our understanding of what a vehicle is capable of doing, hovering completely motionless in 120 knot winds, all the whole, whatever that thing is, the cube inside a sphere that they keep seeing over and over again.
Right.
Like,
almost hit one of the aircraft.
Yeah.
And,
what the fuck is that?
Yeah. And then they land. So I think, one of the good developments out of all of this, and one of the things that may eventually lead to transparency, right? Because it will provide an avenue for these sightings, whether it's commercial or military pilots, as an example, to report it, right? And to be more, and for the government to take, perhaps, again, it depends on whether it's a big conspiracy or not, to investigate in a more logical manner and in a more detailed manner. So I think just, again, the sheer act that we're talking about it, which then takes me back to the idea that, if you're running a secret program, you don't want people talking about it, so you're not going to muddy the waters with a false narrative if you don't have to.
Right.
If your concern is that someone's getting close to the truth and you got to do, okay, then maybe so. But, Do
you think it's also possible there are patriots that do think that the American public deserves to know about this information and they have been sitting on it for a long time? That people like David Grush and all these various that are coming out and more apparently are wanting to come out. But
yeah. Well, interesting thing with Grush is, look, he said so during the hearing, right? He said, I can't talk about that. I can talk about it in a skiff, right? In a sensitive, secure environment. All right. Well, if I'm, one of the people on that subcommittee, I'm going to say, you know what, to my staff, schedule, a skiff meeting with Grush. Get him in here, and let's, have him talk classified shit.
Right.
So that would be the next logical step in all of this.
Have they done that yet?
I don't know. I mean, it's.
When he said I could talk to you about it in a skiff, have people taken him up on that?
Well, you'd have to ask him. No, I wouldn't know.
Right, and they wouldn't tell anybody.
And therein lies part of the problem, because if he sits there but if he sits in the skiff and continues to kind of say, well, okay, you guys aren't clear to hear this, and I can't. All right, then you got to start questioning, what he's actually got or what he knows for sure, rather than just having this witness interviews and sort of secondhand information. But I'm much more, I guess the point is, I'm much more interested in the direct sightings than witness interviews, right?
Right, and the thing about he's not really a witness, right? He hasn't had any personal encounters with anything.
Right.
He hasn't had personal encounter with a craft. He hasn't seen a retrieved craft. He hasn't seen the biological entities. These are all just programs that he's been made aware of that he felt like people needed to know about. Yeah. That's the narrative.
And I, again, not to disparage anybody, right? I mean, look, he's, if in fact, somebody leaked his medical records, which it looks like, did happen, right? Then that's pretty bullshit. Mm-hmm. Somebody needs to figure out what the hell is happening.
Let's see this. The information from Grush, who's unable to discuss specifics on what he told the Pentagon's watchdog arm. Lawmakers want to sit down with the former official in a sensitive, compartmented information facility, a SCIF, to get additional information from him. The group has been blocked, however, by officials that have informed them that Grush doesn't currently have security clearance to discuss the issues in a skiff, according to Burchett. We think that we'll get there eventually. It's just frustrating. I'm ready to go, and the American public are ready to go, he said. Luna argued that the skiff with Grush could help lawmakers better understand the type of legislation they need to write regarding UAPs. She said she supports legislation that would declassify information on the phenomenon. So there seems to be some issue of secrecy and what possible to discuss or legal to discuss.
Well, yeah, look, the government casts a very wide net when you're talking about classified information. Right. I mean, the government has overclassified information for decades and decades, right? And you've got secret, top secret, code word, and they tend to just hoover everything up and classify it, right? And then it takes fucking forever, right, to go through that process of declassification, and because nobody wants to put their neck out at that point and say, yeah, let's declassify this, right? Once it's in that pot, But the question is, great, you're saying, you can talk about it in a skiff. Well, damn it, then that's the next, that's what the subcommittee should be doing. Right? That's their job, right? If they're curious, right? And if they're sincere about trying to get to the bottom of this, and that's theoretically their job, then they should, because again, going back to the main thing, and people can say, well, why are you wasting your time on this? But you can always circle back to the top line, which is, it's for national security purposes. We want to know what the hell's going on.
Right.
And if so. Yeah, we'll see. I guess that's the question that should be thrown at Grush, or should be thrown at the subcommittee members.
I'm also shocked how few people care. I feel like people are so overloaded with information today because of social media and because of the news cycle. People are so overloaded with information that this barely registered on people other than UFO nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there was a surprising amount, I thought, anyway, of sort of mainstream media coverage. It wasn't particularly deep, right? It just kind of covered, okay, it was a hearing. And I think they did it because, look, it's UFOs or UAPs, right? Mm-hmm. And so, they knew they'd get some clicks on it if they were putting it online or whatever. And they didn't pursue it, like has been any, I haven't seen any stories that talked about the follow-up with Grush. There were a couple of stories talking about the fact that perhaps his medical records were leaked, as a result.
And the medical records showed what? That he had some sort of a psychiatric condition? That he had an event or something like that?
PTSD, I think he, some suicidal depression issues.
Standard stuff with military veterans.
He had done his time in Afghanistan, right? And so that doesn't, it means nothing, except for the fact that it shouldn't be out there, right? The records should be damn well private.
Well, not only isn't that what we want, why don't you shut your little dinger off there, fella?
Is that me going?
Yeah, that's why your phone rang,
too. What the hell? God,
you got to learn how to use that little switch on the side. But
thank you for my IT lesson.
Isn't that what you want from? I mean, that's the whole purpose of providing these services for veterans. That when they do have suicidal thoughts and they are struggling with PTSD, that they get help. I mean, the idea that they're shaming him and saying that his report is not credible because of this seems ridiculous.
Bullshit. Yeah.
It's totally bullshit.
Yeah, and he said he's come out since and said, look, I did help. I'm in a better place, and he was happy that people were talking about it. They should be talking about it. Look, we lose a shocking number of veterans to suicide, right? And it's disgusting that we don't, that the government doesn't work harder at this, right? And spend more effort. I know a couple of people who do amazingly good work at the VA in terms of counselors, right? They're not managers, they're not executives. They work with the veterans every day, right? And it's incredible what they do. But overall, as a government, our assistance, right, to veterans, I mean, you look at the number of homeless situations, it's pathetic. And so when he talks about it, it's good that he's talking about it, right? I think that transparency helps, and he clearly views it that way too. And he said, look, I don't have any problem with discussing it, but we should be concerned by the fact that somehow his medical records were put out there. And then some people will look at that and go, well, is that the government's effort to discredit him? Or is that somebody's effort to discredit him? I don't know why anybody else would. Why would you do that?